Welcome to Thorn, the white village of the Netherlands, a tiny town with cobblestone streets, gleaming white facades, and centuries of history hidden in every stone. Once a semi-autonomous enclave under the Holy Roman Empire, it's a place framed for its peaceful charm, but beneath these pristine walls lies a bittersweet tale of forbidden love. Legend has it a young monk and a merchant's daughter dared to defy the strict rules of the Abbey in 1472. An act so bold it still echoes on stormy nights through Thorn's ancient bell tower. Before we dive headlong into our stormy legend, let's take a quick detour through Thorn's remarkable past. Back in the late 10th century, Thorn began as a Benedictine abbey, later evolving into something like a mini principality under the Holy Roman Empire. The Holy Roman Empire was not a single unified country, but rather a vast patchwork of duchies, counties, city-states, and religious territories, spread mainly across Central Europe. The emperor granted certain abbeys imperial immediacy, meaning they reported directly to him instead of any local lord or bishop. Thorn's Abbey was one of these special enclaves. This unique status let the abbess act as both a spiritual leader and a civil authority, collecting taxes, minting coins, and essentially running Thorn as a small autonomous state. For centuries, Thorn held its own. That is, until the French invaded in the 18th century. Now, about those dazzling white facades. Local lore says it all started with a tiny new tax imposed during the French occupation in the late 18th century. Legend has it the French introduced a levy based on the number or size of the windows facing the street. Desperate to avoid higher taxes, many residents bricked up their windows or shrank them. To disguise the patchwork, the townspeople plastered and painted their homes white. Pretty soon, the uniform color scheme became Thorn's trademark, earning it the nickname Het Wit Stad or White Village. Visitors today can still spot neat rows of whitewashed walls, a reminder of how this once autonomous enclave adapted to new rulers and new rules. And while taxes and architecture might sound mundane, here in Thorn, they're part of a rich tapestry of history, a tapestry that includes hidden vaults, noble intrigues, and of course, a certain legendary bell tower. So let's roll back the clock to 1472, and a talented young monk arrived to change the course of the village's history, one resonant bell at a time.
The ancient walls of Thorn stood shrouded in morning mist, their weathered surfaces a testament to centuries of tradition. But beneath this time-worn facade, the Abbey church harbored a tale as haunting as its bells were beautiful. In the year 1472, Brother Marcus arrived at the Abbey, a young monk whose true calling was not prayer, but music. His hands, though calloused from farm work, possessed an innate grace that transformed the church bells from mere timepieces into instruments of sublime beauty. Each morning, his melodies would float across the village, weaving through the narrow streets like threads of gold in a tapestry of sound. Maria, the merchant's daughter, would linger in the marketplace beneath the bell tower, her dark eyes fixed upward, watching the ropes dance beneath Marcus's skilled hands. Something in Marcus's music spoke to the colors hidden in her heart. Their first meeting came by chance. A dropped prayer book, a helping hand, a shared smile that lingered too long. Soon they were meeting in the church garden at twilight, speaking in whispers of poetry and dreams. Marcus taught her the names of the bells: Gabriel, the great bell that marked the hours; Michael, whose clear tone called for vespers; and Raphael, the smallest, whose sweet voice sang of dawn. But in Thorn, even walls had eyes. The Abbess Constance, a woman whose faith had calcified into cruel certainty, discovered their romance through a novice's loose tongue. She saw their love not as the miracle it was, but as a corruption that threatened the very foundations of her ordered world. The punishment she devised was as cruel as it was symbolic. A chamber within the bell tower, no larger than a confessional, was to become both Marcus's prison and his tomb. The masons came at dawn, their trowels ready to seal the past away behind stone and mortar. Maria, having learned of the sentence through whispered rumors, slipped into the church as the first stones were being laid. Hidden behind a pillar, she watched in horror as Marcus was led to his fate. But even then, facing an unimaginable death, his voice remained steady as he made his vow. I will ring these bells until love is no longer forbidden. The last stone was set as darkness fell. That night, a storm broke over Thorn with such fury that the villagers swore the world itself was protesting this act of barbarism. And through the thunder came the sound of bells, not the familiar rhythms of the liturgy, but a wild, passionate melody that spoke of love and defiance. Now, centuries later, the bells of Thorn still ring of their own accord when storms rage across the village. Their song is unlike any earthly music, a symphony of impossible harmonies that could never be created by a single ringer. The locals say that Brother Marcus keeps his vigil, marking with his ghostly concerts every instance of love threatened by authority. During the first spring storm, the Lover's Storm, as it's known in Thorn, the bell tower becomes a theater of shadows. Visitors and villagers alike report glimpses of a robed figure moving between the bells, his steps light as memory. Between the peals, an ancient love song echoes through the belfry, its words in a dialect long forgotten, but its meaning clear to any heart that has known love. Some say that on these nights, young couples who stand beneath the tower will find their love blessed with unusual fortune. Others whisper that the abbess too haunts the church, endlessly climbing the tower steps in pursuit of a perpetrator she can never catch. But all agree that in Thorn, where every building wears the white of innocence, the darkness of the bell tower holds not evil, but the eternal truth that love cannot be walled in, cannot be silenced, cannot die. And so Brother Marcus rings his bells, their music rolling out across the white roofs of Thorn like waves across a frozen sea, reminding all who hear that some vows are stronger than death, and some loves outlast stone.
When we take a step back and look at the legend of Brother Marcus and Maria in Thorn, it fits right into a larger picture of European bell tower folklore. For centuries, bell towers have been the heart of local communities, signaling everything from daily prayers to urgent alarms. And it's no surprise they often form the backdrop of dramatic tales. The tower is more than just a physical structure. It's a stage for stories about faith, community, and the forces that defy both. Throughout Europe, there's a long tradition of supernatural or tragic happenings tied to these tall spires. In many stories, such as our tale from Thorn, forbidden love is a common theme, often heightened by the tower's lofty, secluded setting. Like Brother Marcus's vow to keep ringing the bells for love, numerous legends across the continent speak of ill-fated couples or wronged souls whose spirits manifest in the tolling of a bell tower. It's as though the ringing becomes a voice for those who can't rest in peace, echoing across centuries and reminding us of the thin line between earthly vows and higher callings. Meanwhile, the ghostly ringing phenomenon shows up again and again in European folklore. These phantom peals hint at unsettled spirits or unresolved transgressions that still need to be heard. They're the places where everyday life and the unknown intersect. Brother Marcus's tale isn't just Thorn's story. It's part of a broader folklore that resonates with everyone who's ever listened to a tolling bell and wondered what secret lies behind its sound.